If you're not here, why? You need to be here. Make your plans to be here. And especially for the parade that's coming up in September, we want everybody that loves Jesus and knows that he's already in the city to be here parading the streets of Toronto, letting the world know that he loves, he changes, and he heals.
I'm so excited about what Jesus is doing. You can feel his presence right here as we're lifting up his name in the public square. And so we're very grateful that we can, and there's so much wonderful talent and people are just having an awesome time.
Welcome to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Woodrow Thompson, and we have an exciting show for you today. You've been watching footage of Jesus in the City Parade, and we have the founder and director in studio with us today. We have Ayana Solomon with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you. Reverend Ayana Solomon.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us. Now, we've always watched the Jesus in the City Parade, but don't know much about the origins of Jesus in the City Parade. What's the origin?
Well, back in 1999, it was the first time we ever had the Jesus in the City Parade. And prior to that, I was in Bible college, and the Lord had impressed upon my heart very strongly that we need to take worship out of the church onto the streets.
Right.
That he wants people to see us worshiping him. He wants to show forth his praise.
Right.
And the scripture in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 21, it talks about him showing forth my praises, his praises. He said, these people I formed for myself, they shall show forth my praise. And so while I was in Bible college, I began to pray and seek the Lord as to what it was he wanted me to do. The first thing I did is when we started a Bible college in the Caribbean.
Yes.
And we actually did a parade in the Caribbean.
Right.
The first parade actually took place on the island of St. Kitts. It wasn't called Jesus in the City. And so after 3.5 years in the Caribbean, I came back to Toronto. And then we actually launched the first parade in 1999. And that year was actually the same year that March for Jesus was ending. And we weren't aware of that. March for Jesus would take place around June.
Right.
And it seemed kind of like, well, you don't want to kind of do the same thing or duplicate the same thing. But I knew that God was impressing on our hearts to do something that was a little bit unique in the sense that it would be very multicultural and you would hear the different sounds of different cultures and also the theme of the books of the Bible.
Right.
And so we didn't feel it was the same thing. But that year, they ended in June after running for 7 years. And we started in 1999 in September. And so September 11th, and we started with about 1,500 people showed up. We didn't know how many would come out the first year. We were actually a bit nervous as to how many people would show up, and God showed up that first parade. I have to say, there's been many parades. This is our 18th year right now.
Wow.
But the first parade, I have to say, was very dear to my heart, and I think that was the best parade that we ever had.
But now it has grown. You have more people.
It's more people. It's more dynamics. It's it's a larger event. And we're excited about, God continuing to allow it to grow. And now we've launched into the Caribbean, in Grenada, and we're looking at Jamaica and some other islands, and even other parts of Canada are interested in having the parade there.
Very good. Now, I realized that you also served as a missionary
I did, yes.
for about 4 years, I think.
Yes, 3.5 years. I was a missionary on the island of St. Kitts,
Right.
and we launched a Bible college there, and so I was training and training up leaders, and many of them have graduated since, and so part of my calling is to teach and to impart and to really help people find their purpose and destiny.
So how has Bible school in the missionary, and you're also a worship leader, because you do that as well, prepared you for Jesus in the City Parade?
Well, I believe that everything that I've been through, everything that I've learned, and even when I'm teaching, it's so funny, when you're teaching, you're actually learning a lot.
Right,
You know, you're
right,
imparting
that's
something,
correct.
and the Lord is just downloading things, and you're
Right.
getting revelation. But I realized that God wants to raise up an army of people.
Right.
And so I'm learning that He wants to prepare me to be a vessel that's going to carry His presence.
Right.
And so everything that I teach, everything I impart, I'm just trying to tell people that they need to really just lay aside their own assignment,
Right.
find out what God has called you to do, and allow His presence to really be your number one ambition.
Right.
The number one thing that we desire more than anything is to dwell in the house of the Lord, to dwell in the presence of the Lord, and to have His presence dwell in us. And so most of the times you find me, if I'm speaking or if I'm leading worship, I'm always really encouraging people to bring the presence of God wherever you are, in your workplace,
Right.
at your school place, wherever it is, and just allow Him to minister through you, allow Him to speak through you. And so the parade now is just an outflow of several people who are carrying the presence
Right,
of God
right.
on the streets of Toronto, and we've seen people have been healed during the
Right.
parade, saved, and it's not
Very
even
good.
it's not even direct evangelism. It's really
Right.
we're having a good time, but we
Right.
are allowing His presence to be manifest in our city.
Very good. Well, I'd like to talk to you some more about the parade, because I'd like to ask, what are some of the challenges you faced trying to do it in the city when you first started? But we'll continue this conversation after this break.
So Mayor Ford stepped in and he said, we cannot cancel our parade. We felt blessed that
Yes.
this was the last assignment. We believe that, we pray that he's with the Lord.
Yes,
You know, we prayed
yes.
that he gave his heart to the Lord. But it was interesting to see what his last assignment was, just to keep Jesus in the city.
Wow, that's amazing.
Closed captions provided by
Gospel Connection, Church of God of Prophecy, Pinewood Production brings you the #1 gospel artist in the world, the multiple award-winning Travis Green. Also featuring Toronto's finest, the Campbell Sisters, Father Master, and from Ghana, Africa, Atta Buefo.
My God is good, yo. Hallelujah.
Here's the date, Sunday, August the 6th, 2017. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. The venue, the internationally acclaimed Global Kingdom Ministries, 1250 Markham Road in Scarborough.
Tickets will go very fast.
$35 in advance. 416-795-6343 or go to gospelconnection.ca. Travis Green,
His first time in Toronto.
why would you miss it?
Welcome back to Let's Talk. My guest today is Ayana Solomon, and it's so good to have you again. Now, just before we went to the break, I was asking you about the challenges that you face in trying to get permits or whatever you have to do to be in the city of Toronto. What has been some of the challenges you faced with that?
Well, the first year when we started, it wasn't actually very hard to get a permit, to get a parade permit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and, but asking for where you want the parade is sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So we requested the main street in Toronto, Yonge Street.
Right.
And so they asked a couple questions as to how many are going to be
Right,
there, and
right.
because it's a main street and they're not necessarily doing a full road closure, but it's still obstructing a lot of traffic.
Right.
And by the grace of God, we got Yonge Street the first year.
Wow.
And so that was a big deal, seeing as we didn't know how many
Of
people were
course.
coming. But
Right.
we were prepared to walk down Yonge Street, whether it was us four or no more.
Right.
We're going to go down.
Good.
And so we continued to get that route. And some years we actually reverted where we extended the route a little further down to Dundas, and we changed it up a little. But we always
Right.
made sure we stayed on Yonge Street.
Right.
And then one year, back in 2014,
Right.
there was some construction taking place around Queen's Park.
I remember that.
Right.
Yes.
And so we were having a bit of trouble trying to. The date that we had, of course, was September 6th that year. And we had already booked everything and advertised. And 3 weeks before the parade, they said the construction hasn't finished. They don't feel that we're ready for.
Right.
Now, when you go down to, if you actually go down and look at the construction, you're realizing there's not really anything happening. They're leveling something. There's like 1 inch of driveway.
Right.
That's, you know, and so they're not really. It didn't look like there was any problem for us to have a parade there. So we kind of said, well, we need to still have it there. They said, well, try to find another location. I said, within 3 weeks, we can't really find another location.
Right.
So they were just basically canceling the date without helping us to relocate.
Right.
And this was one individual. It wasn't the whole city making this. It was one individual in transportation that was trying to revert everything. So we had pull in some other people who know what, movers and shakers who know what to do. And they decided, they called in the mayor and said, listen, this is not a big deal for this group. If it was any other group in the city, any other parade, they would never postpone the parade. People were flying in from out of town for that event. And so, so we let them know that this is an important event in the city. It's important to the people, and you can't just move us 3 weeks before the event. And so Mayor Ford stepped in and he said, we cannot cancel our parade.
Right, and he joined the parade.
He joined the parade. He came that year, and so it was interesting to see how he stepped up to the plate and and recognized it as something that was a part of the city, a part of the fabric of Toronto.
Right.
And you know, that was his last assignment in office. Do you know? At that parade, several pastors prayed with him, and they blessed him, and he was running for another term in office. But that 4 days later, do you know he was diagnosed with cancer?
Yeah.
And so we felt blessed that this was the last assignment. We believe that we prayed that he's with the Lord.
Yes,
you know, we prayed that he gave his heart to the Lord. But it was interesting to see what his last assignment was, just to keep Jesus in the city.
Wow, that's amazing. And he'll always be remembered for that.
Amen.
Because that was a great blessing.
Yeah.
More with Reverend Ayana Solomon when we return.
Closed captions provided by
Gospel Connection, Church of God of Prophecy, Pinewood Production brings you the #1 gospel artist in the world, the multiple award-winning Travis Green. Also featuring Toronto's finest, the Campbell Sisters, Father Master, and from Ghana, Africa, Atta Buefo.
My God is good, yo. Hallelujah.
Here's the date, Sunday, August the 6th, 2017. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. The venue, the internationally acclaimed Global Kingdom Ministries, 1250 Markham Road in Scarborough.
Tickets will go very fast.
$35 in advance. 416-795-6343 or go to gospelconnection.ca. Travis Green,
His first time in Toronto.
why would you miss it?
Welcome back to Let's Talk. Ayana, it's fascinating to hear how Jesus in the City parade has been impactful. But do you find that you get some pushback because of the name of Jesus? You're actually heralding that name.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's so funny because back in 1999, when we started the parade, the first name that we used was Parade of the Centuries. It wasn't even Jesus in the City. And so we were having this event. We're just entering into the new millennium. At the time, Mel Lastman was the he was the mayor then, and they were doing a whole bunch of millennial events. And so they even issued us a proclamation for being a part of the millennial events. And so we call it Parade of the Centuries, celebrating BC to AD, 2,000 years of the church and so forth. And so that was the name for 2 years, and then we called it Jesus in the City. And we thought about it a lot before we made that change, because we knew that when it comes to even getting funding, you know, anything like that, you feel like that. But we also felt that the name is something that causes people to declare his name. So the name became a declaration.
Very
And
good.
that was our vision, is to say, we want to see Jesus in our city, in every city.
Yes.
And so we wanted people to utter that regularly. So
right.
it was risky, but right now it seemed very catchy. People liked the name. I remember Kanye West did a song called Jesus Walk, and that became around that time. And we were like, you know what? If he can say
Right,
Jesus,
of
we're
course,
going to
yeah.
say Jesus, right?
Yes.
And so we were very. It took a sense of boldness,
Right,
but
right.
we felt that it really paved the way for who we want to be and who we are as the church,
Very
and
good.
are declaring that He is the Lord over our city.
Good. Now, how do churches contribute to the parade? Do you find a lot of churches are getting involved and partnering with you?
Well, we do encourage churches to support, and a lot of churches are our sponsors.
Right.
We also have business sponsors as well.
Good.
And that's something that we want to increase, where they feel as though they're taking ownership of it. So it's
Right.
not just us putting on a parade and they're supporting us, but they are investing in keeping the light shining in the city of Toronto. And I really feel that it is part of our light. Although we meet in our
Yes.
churches and
Yes.
we fellowship, a lot of people don't know what's happening within the four walls. But once a year, the city sees the church come out and they see us celebrating. They remember that they're there.
Yes.
And it's as if we're keeping the lamp burning,
Right.
and our passion for God burning, and people can have an opportunity to know that we are here for them. The church is here for them, and we're kind of like a sign in the city.
Right.
When you're lost,
right.
this is the
Sure,
direction
sure.
to go. So.
And I think it's about time that we take it out of the four walls
Yes.
into the city.
Absolutely,
I think
absolutely.
it's time for us to do that.
Yeah.
Now, Jesus in the City Parade, I was at a prayer breakfast with pastors.
Yes.
And I was just amazed at the many pastors you're able to bring together, but also the police chaplains.
Yeah.
And that's where the police chief was. I met him at that event.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that, and how did you get that going?
This was only our third year.
This is your third year?
Yeah, and so when we look at it, we started a pastor's breakfast 3 years ago, and that year we had about 120 pastors
Right.
came, and we just wanted to share the vision with them, and we didn't even have any intention of necessarily inviting police services.
Right, right.
And so, but the second year, when Chief Mark Saunders, I believe,
Right,
came.
yes.
So we said, you know what, let's invite him. Now, some people say, well, you know, should we invite him? Is he a Christian? All these questions, right? I said, let's create the
Right.
connection
Sure,
between,
sure.
bring them into our world,
Right.
and allow them also to know that the church is there for them. So we gave them an opportunity to share at the pastor's breakfast.
Right.
And there were some chaplains at that breakfast. That was the second year.
Wow.
This third year now, after that breakfast, he said, I want to work with you guys.
Very good.
We need the help of the churches. We need the help of the pastors. So at this breakfast, his message was very more concentrated and direct,
Right.
and specific about certain things that need to happen in the city of Toronto.
Right.
And even in the Toronto Sun article that they reported that he was very, he wasn't politically correct at all. He
Right,
was
right,
saying, I want pastors
right,
to help me. He wasn't trying to
right.
say every other religion,
Sure.
Muslims, Sikhs, or anything. He was focusing on the Christian church,
Right.
saying that there's something that we have to help mentor young black men, to help decrease crime. And so I feel that we as the church have been given a call to action.
Yes.
And if we don't necessarily take that up, then, you know, some other religious group might
I
take it
think
up.
That's true.
Because, you know, there
That's
is a
true.
need.
Yes.
And so then there are young people in every religious group that are suffering, that are facing violence and pain and hurt. So if the church rises up and say, hey, we're going to be the ones that the city of Toronto looks to, that the police forces look to, that the first
Right.
responders look to, they know that we will be there to pray for them. We'll be there to help mentor and counsel the youth of the city.
And I think that's great. God has opened the door, and I think we should walk through it. When we return from this break, I'd like for you to share with us the upcoming Jesus in the City Parade and a little bit more about how Christians, not just local churches, but Christians can get involved after this break.
Closed captions provided by
Gospel Connection, Church of God of Prophecy, Pinewood Production brings you the #1 gospel artist in the world, the multiple award-winning Travis Green. Also featuring Toronto's finest, the Campbell Sisters, Father Master, and from Ghana, Africa, Atta Buefo.
My God is good. good, yo. Hallelujah.
Here's the date, Sunday, August the 6th, 2017. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. The venue, the internationally acclaimed Global Kingdom Ministries, 1250 Markham Road in Scarborough.
Tickets will go very fast.
$35 in advance. 416-795-6343 or go to gospelconnection.ca. Travis Green,
His first time in Toronto.
why would you miss it?
TV programs, convocations, conventions, graduations, YouTube commercials. Pinewood Films is a locally owned production company based in Toronto, and we're here to help you capture your event on video. It could be a Saturday or Sunday morning church service, a banquet, a business function, birthday party, even that special wedding day. Absolutely no project is too small or too large. We record and edit all of our footage professionally with high-quality HD and 4K cameras that can be used for TV broadcasting or just home viewing. The choice is all up to you. So, what are you waiting for? Call us right now at 647-933-8068, and there's no obligation. Let's talk about your ideas for your next event or project. The number is on the screen. We're waiting for your call.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. We've been having a fascinating conversation with Reverend Ayana Solomon and sharing with us about Jesus in the City Parade. What are the plans for the upcoming Jesus in the City Parade?
Well, we are planning to have the 18th annual parade on
18th?
Yes, the 18th year.
Wow.
On Saturday, September 9th, this year, 2017. And so we're excited about this year's parade, and we are trying to get as many people to, this year we really would love to see a whole beautiful display of colorful t-shirts.
Right.
So every year, if you notice, we have different people wear different color t-shirts, but this year we want to try and get many groups to choose a certain color. Section, and then we'll have like a whole sea of red, a whole sea of blue, a whole sea of purple. So that's one of the different things we're going to try this year. Every year we have the different churches enter a float. And sometimes it's depicting a book of the Bible, or it could be depicting any kind of part of their vision, whatever they want to depict for the vision of their church. But we really want to see them come forth with a lot of the dynamic creativity, the creative arts and drama. One of the churches, the Korean churches, every year they come out, they actually do the Passion every year. And they display the whole Passion right throughout the whole street of the race. So we want people to be creative and think of ways to tell a story while we're on the street. So we're not just parading and dancing, which is awesome, which is the real heart of the parade is worship and dance. But we want to see people starting to tell a story, so people watching are hearing something and getting a strong message of the gospel.
Well, just before we go, could you share with our viewers how they can get in touch with you and they can connect with Jesus in the City
Absolutely.
Parade?
So they can reach us at, they can visit our website, www.jesusinthecity.com. They can also call us at 416-770-8699. And we also want to encourage them to come out on July 22nd for the kickoff concert at Young Dundas Square.
Very good.
And we have several artists who are going to be celebrating and lifting up the name of Jesus in the city of Toronto.
Very good. Well, Reverend Ayana Solomon, it was great having you.
Thank you.
And appreciate the fact that you share with our audience how they can be part of Jesus in the City Parade. All the best. God bless you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Closed captions provided by
TV programs, convocations, conventions, graduations, YouTube commercials. Pinewood Films is a locally owned production company based in Toronto, and we're here to help you capture your event on video. It could be a Saturday or Sunday morning church service, a banquet, a business function, birthday party, even that special wedding day. Absolutely no project is too small or too large. We record and edit all of our footage professionally with high-quality HD and 4K cameras that can be used for TV broadcasting or just home viewing. The choice is all up to you. So, what are you waiting for? Call us right now at 647-933-8068, and there's no obligation. Let's talk about your ideas for your next event or project. The number is on the screen. We're waiting for your call.
So just before we close the show, we have an exciting event we want to tell you about, and I have two guests that have joined me to help you to get the information regarding this event. So I have Devon Wells Gospel Connection, and I have Pastor Roger Grandison, Pinewood Films.
Yes.
And we have an exciting
Very exciting,
event
very
coming
exciting,
up.
very exciting.
I don't want to give it away.
I can hardly contain myself.
I know. I mean, so Gospel Connection, Pinewood Films, Church of God of Prophecy is collaborating together.
Yeah, we're getting together
We're
getting together to do this massive event. Travis Green.
Travis Green.
Travis Green is coming to Toronto. Full band, full singers.
First time.
Full everything. First time in Toronto.
First time in Toronto.
We cannot. This is gonna be amazing. Gonna be amazing. Gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be great. You know, when I mentioned the name Travis Green,
our
young people just go.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm like, really, you know?
Hey, but Bishop, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Even the older folks like me and you, we still do that, you know.
I'm not old.
Just give away age there. Oh man.
So Devon, tell us about the dates, man. When
you know, it is so exciting. You know, Travis Green for the first time in Toronto.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're so happy to introduce him. As we've done with Tasha Cobbs.
Yes, we did.
That was a great concert.
It was amazing. And Toronto actually showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Toronto came out. You know, we expected a certain number, but at the Prayer Palace,
kind of doubled
when
the number.
we doubled it, it was so amazing.
It was amazing.
So August 6th,
yes,
it's the big day.
Yes.
The 6th of what? 6th of what?
The 6th of August.
There you go.
2017.
All right.
All right. It's going down at Global Kingdom Ministries.
Right. Yes.
And that's in Scarborough. That's at Progress and the 401 area. And again, it's going to be a night of powered worship.
Yep.
A fire worship. If you want to
fire
call
worship.
it.
Travis Green was just in Jamaica recently, and we watched the Facebook Live, and I'm telling you, he had the place on fire. But not just Travis Green. We're having the Campbell sisters.
Yes.
Who I consider to be like the royal family of Canadian gospel music.
Oh yes,
right.
correct.
You know
Yes.
For the master, gonna be there. I mean, this is going to be one event. But watch, who else is coming from Ghana? Tell them who's coming from Ghana, Africa.
All the way from Ghana?
From Ghana, Africa.
Oh, come
Bishop.
on.
For the first time in Toronto again. You know, we love to do
Oh,
that,
yes,
right? For the
yes,
first time.
yes, the first.
Hey, my God is good, oh, everything I do.
I always preach, I'm not going to go there with you.
Yes, right? No, Atabuafu.
Yes.
Now, he's not the original singer for Double Double, but he's the one who made the song.
Now, I know that with Travis Green, you're not just having him in Toronto.
No, he's going to be on the 5th, he's also going to be in Montreal. And so if you're in Montreal, you're watching this show, Travis Green is coming to Montreal as well. Do not miss it. So here's the dates again. We won't miss it. August the 6th.
Yes.
Global Kingdom
Ministries.
Yes.
It's going to be epic.
It's going to be.
If you miss it, you're going to be hearing about it, and you don't want that.
Devon Wells, Pastor Roger Grandison, good to have you. Yes. And we're looking forward to that great event with Travis Green.
He made a way.
He made a way. Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk. We'll see you soon. Keep talking.